was really emotional those first few minutes, just because it's a lot to think that, you know, we don't know these people, but they could have been sitting with people they loved and people that they had become really good friends with, and that they didn't know what was going to happen in these next few moments. And I think the gravity of that situation was really just heavy on me for those 35 minutes.
They're set up so that the chairs approximate where the seats were for our people who passed away on Pan Am, who were killed on Pan Am 103. And that first convocation, people trailed into Hendricks Chapel coming up from the Wall of Remembrance after the rose laying. And when they came out the front steps, and the chairs were there in the shape of the plane. And the families were unbelievably moved. It's hard to remember 36 years ago, but cell phones did not exist, social media did not exist. Email was in its infancy. We relied on dial phones. And information was very sparse. The first word that came to our office was that a plane with Syracuse students on it was missing. And the rest, that was roughly 3 o'clock in the afternoon, about an hour after the crash actually happened. And the rest of that day was spent trying to gather information and realizing increasingly how awful this was.
It was just unbelievable that this could happen to students, to us, to people like us, that this could happen.
Having the installation is one of the most important things we do in the Remembrance Week process, because it's in such a front-facing, area, and it's up for so long that you don't have to be, obviously sitting in solidarity, like, we want people to see that and experience that, but also even if you just pass by the chairs and you see the flowers and the little candles, like, there's ample opportunity for people to learn and to engage.
So it was a really sort of profoundly emotional experience. I didn't really know what to expect going into it, and then it's like sitting down there, it was just like thinking, like I was like putting my mind in a place of like, this is where one of the students would have sat, this is where like, a mother, a husband, a sister, a brother would have sat. And it was just kind of like, they probably had so many they were excited for the holidays, they had so many things they probably wanted to share with their families back home, and it's like they never got to do that. And it's like I have the privilege of being able to like go forward each day and go out and like do my best, and it's like I need to kind of really sort of like take control and like do that, and remember that there's people that aren't in that position because of what happened.
Most of us have flown on a plane, most of us have been a seat number. This hits you hard because that could be you sitting in that seat. And I think it's just such a visual representation of what we lost. In this, when you say, okay, you lost 35 students, okay, but to see it, to actually see it.
Mm-hmm. And realize how many empty places there are, how many other people there were. So it's a memory thing.
Yeah.
It's a remembrance, but it's also a thought-provoking thing about what's different now. Why is it different? And who made those changes?
Sitting in solidarity, the fact we were so focused, it made everyone stop and look twice, and I think that's what it was meant to do. It was meant to make people think and make people see what we were representing and the way we were doing it, and I think it really had an impact on everyone, especially on us, but on everyone in the community.
Every year when we're out there, I will meet someone invariably who will come up and say, oh, I was a friend of Turhan's, or I was a friend of Miriam Wolf's. It just is something that people are drawn to, I think, because it's a way you can remember, and it's a way you can, help to process some of that emotion. I think it's one of the most impactful things that we do
Yeah.
during Remembrance Week.
I think we owe it to not only owing it to ourselves, but owing it now to the people that we represent to follow what we truly want to do and what we're good at and what can make a difference. And I think having that external source of, inspiration and something to catalyze your movement forward, I think is just so important.
That's the core of the Remembrance program, and we get this opportunity to basically tie our goals and our passions and our lives to the lives of the 35 individuals that were lost, and the rest of the passengers and the Lockerbie community, and kind of further carry that out. And I just don't think that there's anything like that experience that you can kind of emulate in anything else.
Even though something happened 37 years ago, that doesn't mean it's still not relevant. And I think it's really important for us to marry those two of the look back and act forward. It's so important they go hand in hand. I don't think you can have one without the other.
Take this event, this tragedy, think about what it means to remember, but think about what it does for you and to you to move forward, to be the best that you can be in ways you never thought possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because it changes us.